Early visitors: Greeks, Romans, Chinese, Persians, Arabs.
This is the vacation I needed.
You don't work?
Hey, life's hard. Now, tell me why the different early visitors of East Africa came. I want to take a nap and need help falling asleep.
Funny, Luanda. But I will go into detail. We will start with the Greeks. Do you know who Alexander the Great is?
I know nothing.
I knew that. Perfect. Alexander the Great was a Greek leader in around 400-300 BCE. His empire ruled from modern-day Greece, Egypt, and all the way east to borders of India. He was a very successful and young leader that died at age 32.
I see. But what does this have to do with Africa?
Patience! After his death, his generals or army leaders were fighting over how to continue the empire. One of his generals, Seleucus, gained control of the ivory trade from India. This made other generals, Ptolemy of Logos, have to find new places to get ivory.
So they turned to African elephants.
Correct. The Ptolemies, or the group that followed Ptolemy, moved towards East Africa using water along the coast to look for elephant hunting places.
So they basically just kept moving south from Egypt until they found the mini elephants.
Yes. There is evidence of their gold coins as south as Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Ivory was traded with cinnamon from all the way in East Asia, and Greeks made some money off this.
What about the Greeks' neighbors, the Romans? You mentioned earlier there were books from Greek and Roman authors.
Yes, during about 45 AD, the Roman Emperor Augustus began looking to expand trade from around the world. He saw the Arab traders having a strong hold on trade in Asia. Ever hear of the Silk Road?
Yes. Pretty much it was the trade route extending from Rome to China. So the Arabs were in charge of this?
Yes. And so Augustus sent a sailor named Hippalas to go south and find a new water route to Asia. The northeast and the southwest monsoons played a huge role in the trades of East Africa.
What do you mean?
These made ship sailing very hard in times of heavy rain and caused these early visitors not to stay in East Africa for long after trading was done.
I see. So Hippolytus stumbled upon East Africa.
While looking for a way towards China through the Indian Ocean, he did come across Africa. He gave the locals of East Africa wine, glass, wheat, and in exchange got ivory, slaves, and rhino horns.
Asia seems to be a big marketplace since everyone was trying to find a better way there. Did the Chinese ever come here?
The Chinese came to East Africa around the 700s. This is known because some of their money and pots have been found in the ground. There are some writings from Chinese during different dynasties or ruling periods. They referred to East Africa trade as Seng Pao.
And what did they bring and take from here?
The Chinese brought spices such as cinnamon and exotic jewelry and pots. They took ivory, turtle shells, skins of animals such as leopards and rhino horns.
So much animal killing. And they had to do this shipping by ships, of course.
Yes, they came in large fleets called junks, but these were only used until the 1400s.
These groups don't seem to have a large, lasting influence as I look around.
Truth. The Persians and the Arabs had a lasting effect as they also came later. They were united through religion and made their way along the coast, pushing away those that were not Islamic. The Persians began making settlements here.
Unlike the others that mostly just came for trade?
Correct? Most came to trade and left before monsoon season, as mentioned. The Persians built the towns of Zanzibar and Lamu, although later this was controlled by the Arabs. Did you know that Zanzibar means the land of the blacks?
That is quite straightforward. And their influence is still around today?
Yes. They made the settlements that turned into towns, religious influences, and even Swahili culture. But as I mentioned, the Muslim Arabs eventually took over and was the greatest influence to today.
They are also the closest out of the groups.
Yes, this did help play a role for their dominance. They were the closest and were great sailors and traders. This allowed them to sail even during monsoon seasons.
How?
They had many ports of call or places to rest along the African coast in south of Arabia. This allowed them to stop and rest if needed quite easily. As I mentioned earlier, Islam was spreading, and this was one reason why Arabs pushed southwards.
I see that Islam still has a holding influence today. But what other effects were caused by all this trading and settlements?
Oh, this is a great lead into my next discussion.
Dr. Griffin, I have been looking all over for you. Our museum meeting starts in 5 minutes.
I forgot. Meet me at the Kongowea market in an hour.
Mama way.